Phil Hogan, Farming Commissioner from the EU, welcome to the 9th Forum for the Future of Agriculture, sponsored by Syngenta and the ELO. You've been involved in the debate so far this morning. Of course, the debate is normally revolves something around the CAP is not that well tuned into looking at sustainable agriculture. But I know your message is things are changing and you can be specific about some of the steps that are being taken. Tell me some of the things you told the forum this morning.
Yes, my basic message is that the Common Agricultural Policy is adapting and evolving. It is taking account more and more environmental measures that have to be taken in terms of meeting our sustainable development goals. We have been very involved in these particular goals in 2015. In fact, it's interesting, and it doesn't get much attention, that we had some wonderful international outcomes from the point of view of the environment and agriculture in 2015, the Sustainable Development Goals, the Paris 20, the COP21 on climate change, and also the WTO talks in Nairobi. So we ended up very well. And what I've been trying to say today to our stakeholders and our visitors here to Brussels is that agriculture is prepared to take its part and play its part constructively in adapting its policy to meet our sustainable development goals, and we are doing so already in areas of environment and climate action in the payments that we make to farmers.
One of the themes today is about concrete steps, implementation, action, and that time being now. How does that read across to you in your work, in your job? Are there concrete steps that you can say, yes, here we are, look at what we've done, here's proof? Yes,
well, there is always a discussion about the appropriate balance between food security and sustainability. And what we've been doing in agriculture is for every euro that we give to farmers in the European Union in direct payments now, 1/3 of that goes for environmental and greening measures, which is good practice on the ground, and half our rural development budget of 16.3 billion euro is going on agri-environment and climate action. So these are concrete measures on the ground that are taking place in the last programme and in this programme between now and 2020 that inevitably will assist in protecting our vital natural resources in water and soil fertility. This is not about short-term gain for farmers, this is about medium and long-term policy implementation that they know they have to implement if they want to have good crop yields and a good environment for agriculture in the years ahead for their production.
Commissioner Hogan, what are the real obstacles for you, though, from your point of view? Because as you said yourself to the forum this morning, this challenge is a political one. People have talked about remaining in their silos and everybody looking after themselves and their budgets and their priorities. That's a debate, a criticism that's levelled and goes round and around. But you said the challenge is a political one.
Yes, and this is why we are now meeting in clusters as commissioners, and I'm working more closely now with the Commissioner for the Environment, Commissioner Vella, Commissioner for Research and Innovation, Commissioner Midas, under the chairmanship of Vice President Katainen. And our job is to look at jobs and growth, but also look at how we can actually have a more sustainable agriculture, sustainable means of production and processing, to meet the objectives in a cross-cutting way, in a horizontal way, with the measures that we have to take to meet our sustainable development goals and our climate action. So it's not just the silo mentality of old. We now have to adapt, and we are adapting towards a more integrated approach and a greater realization that we're interdependent on each other between agriculture and the environment for the future, not just of food production and balancing our food security requirements, but also for future mankind.
And cutting across that silo mentality, forums like this, have you listened to activists, to campaigners, to industry today? Is there anything that you can take away that's solid from this?
Well, I was very impressed with the speech made by Steiner, who was somebody I know quite well from the time when I was a former Minister for the Environment in Ireland. He has made his usual thought-provoking and interesting contribution towards where we need to go in the future in terms of our interdependence in agriculture and the environment. And we will be studying his contribution and following up with him and his services to see how we can do more.
Can I just ask you very quickly from a UK perspective, your view on Brexit and how it might affect farmers?
Well, I think that the farmers of the United Kingdom, of which I've spoken to on many occasions, are very prudent people. They understand that the European Union has been good for agriculture in the UK and good for trade in agricultural products. So I think they will reflect very carefully in terms of the resources and where they come from in terms of agriculture, but also in terms of where they're going to get markets for their products and how they're going to continue the good work they're doing on jobs and growth. And I have been very involved with the National Farmers Union, but also with Secretary of State Trusts in developing ideas of where we can simplify the CAP, reduce regulation and provide even greater opportunities for food and agriculture in the UK in the future in context of good trade deals.
Commissioner Phil Hogan, thank you very much for speaking to the forum today.